Hey folks, I've been away from aviation for a while, but I thought I would post a new video showing something that may help you, especially if you fly at higher altitudes or at night. I've flown a lot up at the upper altitudes, usually in pressurized airplanes, but the last few airplanes haven't been pressurized. So I've always struggled to find oxygen at an airport, or at my home airport for that matter. It seems like they always have some, but the bottles always have 11 or 1200 psi in them and you can never get a good fill. So I did some research and I found that maybe an oxygen concentrator might be the solution to my problem to always have oxygen. So in standard aviation oxygen portable bottles, they have a standard valve on them. Some of them have oxygen-saving cannulas, such as this Precise Flight with a flow meter, and that does help conserve oxygen, but you still have a bottle that needs to be filled by someone, and good luck finding it at most airports. So my solution was to find this device here. It's called a Devilbiss iFill 535 is the actual model number. And this is an oxygen concentrator with a compressor. So you've seen oxygen concentrators you can carry around that deliver oxygen. The problem is they only effectively deliver oxygen to about 12 to 14,000 feet. And they're battery powered, they're heavy, they're just not ideal to have in the cockpit, drawing power and having a battery and also not delivering oxygen up high. Instead, this unit here makes the oxygen, then compresses it and fills this bottle automatically. This here is an M6 size bottle, very small, 12 inches tall, 4 inches wide. This bottle here, if we, let me back up. This also has the PD1000 pulse demand system on it. This is real similar to what Mountain High offers on their pulse demand systems for their experimental aircraft. So what the pulse demand system does, instead of having constant flow oxygen to a standard cannula, you can dial in the amount of oxygen you want it to disperse on every one of your breath cycles. So when you take a breath, it senses that, it shoots in oxygen. When you exhale, it senses that, it gets ready for the next charge. You take a breath again, it gives you a pulse dose of oxygen. And I found at 16,000 feet, using a standard cannula, which is very comfortable. These are very comfortable cannulas. A setting of 3, which is about half of what it'll put out. At 16,000 feet, I can maintain 91% saturation levels. This little bottle, at 16,000 feet, will last 3 hours. Not bad. What's great about it, too, when you need to refill it, well, let me back up again. Sorry. Or, this runs on 2 AA batteries, which literally last forever, a year at least, using it normally. I can also set this valve, if these batteries would fail, or the system would fail, I can set it to constant flow. Now, constant flow on a regular cannula only lasts an hour. With the pulse demand, it lasts 3 hours. Or, I can use the Precise Flight OxySaver cannula, and there's other brands, but I like Precise Flight, along with their flow meter. I can set it for whatever altitude I want, and again, using the 16,000 foot setting on this flow meter, I get almost 3 hours. So whether you use the OxySaver cannula or the pulse demand system, you get 3 hours. I just happen to like the pulse demand system due to the lightweight, tiny little cannula that you can use. This is a constant flow cannula used with the PD1000. Works great. This is fine too. It's just kind of in your way, especially if you're trying to eat. It's not as comfortable. The tubing isn't as soft and flexible. So there's the 2 options. This is if you want to use portable oxygen. And what's great, when you want to refill it, you just stick it down here, take the valve cover off, stick it in the machine, and you hit start. This bottle is pretty much full, so it's going to shut off. This machine will fill this bottle in about 50 minutes, so just under an hour. And if it's a partially full bottle, it'll take it from there also. So the bottle don't have to be empty. If it's half full, you put it in, 15-20 minutes later it's full. Now, I'll go ahead and stop this. To release the bottle when it's full, just pull it out. It's done. Great as a backup bottle or your primary bottle if you don't have a permanent system in your airplane. However, if you have a permanent system, now this is here where the disclosure comes. You do this at your own risk. I've had conflicting stories about, oh, your oxygen's no good, your concentrator's no good, it won't work, it has too much humidity in it, whatever. I made this hose myself. I took the adapter off one of these Devilbiss iFills. This adapter, I'll bring it up there a little closer. This adapter is what you need on the end in order to make it fill, this brass fitting here. So I took one of them off, made my own cable, or my own hose. This hose has a standard, what I call a Scott fitting, but it's actually an AN 800-3, I believe. And this here hooks right to the fill port of 90-95% of all GA airplanes. So what this does, instead of using the bottle, I can plug this right into the machine, plug this end and screw this end into the airplane, and it'll fill my 77 cubic foot bottle in about 4 hours, 4.5 hours. So come home from a flight, screw it into the airplane, turn on the machine, walk away. When I come back, the machine shuts down by itself. When it hits 2,000 psi, it automatically shuts down. So when it's done, it shuts off. I don't need to worry about unhooking it right away. I can walk away and come back a week later, unscrew it from the airplane, pop this off, store it away, and I have a full bottle of oxygen in the airplane then. Again, I'm told by people that, oh, there's humidity in that oxygen. I've researched this. Maybe someone can debunk it. This machine here basically takes our normal air, which is 80% oxygen and 20% nitrogen, and instead it delivers and compresses 95% pure oxygen into here with about 5% nitrogen. So you probably don't get quite the oxygen saturation you're going to get from true medical grade or aviation grade oxygen. But I'm not convinced that the humidity they talk about being absent in the aviation oxygen versus the medical grade oxygen is correct. As a matter of fact, in my last airplane, the Glass Air, if you watch my videos, I used this machine for 2 years in that airplane. Flew it as high as 18,000 feet in temperatures of 30 below zero. The tank was in the tail of the airplane where it was 30 below zero. For 3 hours flight, never once did the valve, the regulator valve freeze up, or did I have a problem. Again, I've been told it'll rust my tank because of the humidity. It'll freeze up the valve, plug up the orifices, break the regulator, freeze. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I did. You can do what you want to do, but it might be an option for you if you want to try it. It definitely works for the portable oxygen. No problem. This is warm. It's in the airplane. It has no chance of freezing up. And these cylinders are built for oxygen. I would think if moisture was a problem and rust was a problem, again, this is an aluminum tank, so it's not going to rust, but if corrosion was a problem or the regulator had a problem with moisture, this would have a problem too. So, like I said, I've used this many times for 2 years straight in the Glass Air. Probably filled the bottle, a dozen times. Never had a problem, even up at 18,000 foot, and using this oxygen. So, you can buy these online. Again, this is the Devilbiss 535. Again, it's a home filling oxygen machine. It is kind of heavy, weighs about 60 pounds, so I just leave it in the hangar. Right now I have it at home, but leave it in the hangar and plug it in when I use it. And again, you can either use, I actually have the Precise Flight OxySaver cannula set up for my Cessna Turbo RG, it has a standard Scott fitting. So it has a fitting here that goes up into the headliner. So I use it because it's constant flow only. In the airplane it's constant flow only, so I need to use the OxySaver cannula. But when I fly with the portable oxygen, again, I use just the regular cannula. You can buy these on Amazon for about $1.50 each. So you can keep a bunch of them in the plane. So just something that you might want to think about if you're struggling to get oxygen at your airport or at your destination. You could literally throw a few of these in the airplane. By the way, this is just the small, what we call the M6 size. They also make a C, D, and E size. Now the C, D, and E are about the same width, but they're much taller. Some of them, this is about 1 foot tall. I think the E is about 2.5 foot tall. But a D cylinder with the OxySaver or the pulse demand would literally last 8, 9, 10 hours. So you could take a long trip somewhere there and back and have oxygen the whole time, portable. You'd never get away with that with a portable oxygen system in your plane. A, because it's not big enough. B, you're not going to find oxygen usually where you land anyway. So just something to think about. Hope this helps for you, those of you that struggle to find oxygen. Thanks.